Hello everyone, this is part 3 on past year NEET questions from the topic equilibrium. Those who are looking at this video can probably take a look at the other videos also so that we'll have continuity. Let's start with the first question. This is a question that has come in the 2015 cancelled paper. It's a straight question on the formula. Which of the following statements is correct for a reversible process in a state of equilibrium? So here if you look at these formulae, right, what are we having? We are having either the expression for delta G or delta G naught. Now we have a relation between the delta G value and the reaction quotient of the reaction. So what is it? Del G is equal to del G naught plus 2.303 RT log Q. Q stands for the reaction quotient. So this is the relation we have between the free energy change of the reaction and the reaction quotient. At equilibrium stage, right? So if we talk about reversible reaction, we will reach equilibrium. At equilibrium stage, the del G value will be 0, which means 0 will be equal to del G naught plus 2.303 RT log the reaction quotient value will become equal to the equilibrium constant K. Which means if we rearrange it, right, what we are going to get, del G naught will be equal to minus 2.303 RT log K. Otherwise, in terms of natural logarithm, right, we can also write it as minus RT ln K. So del G naught will be equal to minus RT ln K. So what is the correct option for this? Option A, del G naught will be equal to what? 2.303 RT log K. So this is the original relation between the free energy change of the chemical reaction and the reaction quotient Q. So we can sometimes even have straight numerical substitution questions on this formula. Like, you know, if del G naught is given, they may expect us to find what is the K value, or if K is given, they may expect us to find what is the del G naught value. Look at another question. This is a question that has come in the again cancelled paper 2015. If the value of equilibrium constant for a particular reaction, so equilibrium constant for the reaction is given as what? 1.6 into 10 power 12. That is the value of equilibrium constant. So this is the K value. Okay. Then at equilibrium, the system will contain. So here, if you just take a look at these options, right, what they are saying, the system will contain mostly products, similar amounts of reactants and products, all reactants, or mostly reactants. See, if you look at any equilibrium, let's say we have an equilibrium where we have reactants leading up to products. The numerical value of equilibrium constant. Here, what is the value of equilibrium constant? 1.6 into 10 power 12. So typically when you see the K value which is more than 1000, right, that's an indicative of the reaction happening to a large extent, because what is the equilibrium constant expression? It is the, if you talk about the Kc, it is the product concentrations raised to the suitable powers divided by the reactant concentrations raised to their respective powers. The powers are nothing but the coefficients in the balanced equation. So if you look at the significance of the numerical value of K, right, if K is more than 1000 means generally what is the understanding? The products are going to be in much higher proportion than the reactants. So here you can see the value of K is not only more than 1000. So look at the order, it is 10 to the power of 12, which means we are going to be predominantly or mostly containing products. Next, this is another theoretical question. Which of the following, this has come in the year 2014, which of the following salts will give highest pH in water? Now think about it, when we will get highest pH. So we are looking for a condition where the pH should be what? Highest. Now pH highest means the H plus ion concentration rate should be least. In other words, we can say the OH minus ion concentration should be highest. So this is what we have. This is the condition we are looking for. pH high should be means what? The solution must be basic solution. pH high means the solution must be what? Basic solution. Now here if you just take a look at these four options, right, what are we having? KCl, NaCl, Na2CO3, CuSO4. All of these are what? They are all salts. If you look at option A, KCl, right? It's a salt of potassium hydroxide and HCl. It's a salt of strong acid, strong base. So these solutions are what? Neutral. Solutions of salts formed by the strong acids and strong bases will be what? Neutral. Similarly, if you look at NaCl, right? That is formed from NaOH and HCl. That is also salt of strong acid and strong base. Whereas if you look at Na2CO3, it is a salt of sodium hydroxide plus so the base is a strong base and acid is a weak acid. So this solution, right, is going to be what? It is going to be basic in nature. So solutions of salts formed by the strong base and weak acid will be what? Basic in nature. Why? Because the ion from the weak acid will get hydrolyzed. The ion from the strong base will not get hydrolyzed. That's why, because of hydrolysis, right, this will be what? Predominantly basic in nature. If you look at option D, CuSO4, it is coming from copper hydroxide, which we can take it as a weak base, and H2SO4, which is a strong acid. It will be the other way. It will be exactly opposite in terms of this is a salt of weak base and strong acid. This will be what? This will be acidic in nature, again because of the hydrolysis. Here the ion of the weak base will be hydrolyzed, whereas the ion of the strong acid will not undergo that much hydrolysis. So the correct answer, we are looking for what? Basic solution. So these two are what? Neutral. So first and second are what? Option A and B are neutral. C is basic, that's what we are looking for. And D in fact will be what? Acidic. So what is the correct answer for this? Option C is the correct answer. Next we have a question from 2014. Using the Gibbs energy change del G naught value. What is the del G naught value given to us? Plus 63.3 kilojoules. For the following reaction, what is the reaction? Ag2CO3 solid state gives rise to 2Ag plus CO3 2 minus. The KSP value for the Ag2CO3 in water at 25 degrees centigrade. What do we need to find? We need to find the KSP value. Now this problem, right, is solved by using the relation between the del G value and the reaction quotient. So if you look at it, already we have mentioned about this. Del G is equal to del G naught plus 2.303 RT log Q. If we reach at the equilibrium stage, right, means del G will be 0, which means del G naught will be minus 2.303 RT log K. So here the equilibrium is in terms of the solubility. So the K will be represented by what? KSP. So we are going to use this relation. So look at this. This is the relation we are going to use. And in this, what is the del G naught value? 63.3 kilojoules. So we have to be careful about the units. So kilojoules means we have to convert this into joules, right? So that is going to be what? 63.3 into 10 power 3 joules is equal to minus 2.303. R is what? The SI unit value of the R, 8.314 joule per mole per Kelvin into temperature T must be on the Kelvin scale. They are saying temperature is what? 25 degrees centigrade, means in Kelvin scale it will be what? The temperature must be on the Kelvin scale, 298 Kelvin into log KSP. So if you see 2.303 into 8.314 into 298, this involves some calculation part. So whenever we have these kind of questions, they do involve a little bit of calculation. We can't escape out of it. So this multiplication is going to give us approximately 5705. So if you are looking for the KSP value, right, first what we can find? Log KSP we can find. We just bring this to the other side. It will go to the denominator. So what will be log KSP value? Minus 63.3 into 10 power 3 divided by 5705. That will be approximately minus 11.09. So log KSP is minus 11.09 means KSP value will be what? Anti-log of minus 11.09. What is anti-log basically means? 10 to the power. What is anti-log basically means? 10 to the power. So this is nothing but what? KSP is what? 10 to the power of minus 11.09. So we can also express it as 10 power minus 12 plus 0.91. So which is what? 10 power 0.91 into 10 power minus 12. So if we see 10 power 1 means what? 10. 10 power 0.91 means it will be less than 10. It will be less than 10. But the exponent part is what? Exponent part must be 10 to the power of 12. So these kind of questions when we are getting right, you can see the options also, they will not be very much close. Even if you check the exponent part, it is quite different. So option A, what is the exponent part? 10 power minus 26. Option B, what is the exponent part? 10 power minus 12. Option C, exponent part is what? 10 power minus 3. Option D, what is the exponent part? 10 power minus 2. So even if you are doing broad approximation, you will still be able to arrive at the correct option. So what is the answer for this? So 10 power 0.91 will be less than 10, and what is the value? It will be close to 8. So what is the correct answer for this? Option D is the correct answer. So these kind of problems, right, the moment you look at these options, it gives us a hint that okay, we can choose good amount of approximation and still be able to get the answer. If the options are very close by, right, then we may not be able to do approximations that much. So otherwise, it's a straight formula based upon the based upon the del G naught is equal to minus 2.303 RT log KSP formula. The only thing is it involves a little bit of calculation part. Let's go to the next question. This is a question that has come in the year 2014. For the reversible reaction, N2 gas plus 3H2 gives rise to 2NH3 plus heat. Means what? It is an exothermic reaction. This is what exothermic reaction. The equilibrium shifts in the forward direction. Means we are looking for the condition where the equilibrium will be shifting in the forward direction. So look at these options. What is option A saying? By increasing the concentration of NH3. So look at this. What is the given reaction? N2 gas plus 3H2 gas gives rise to 2NH3 gas plus heat. The plus heat will tell us what? This is an exothermic reaction. See, if you add some product by increasing concentration of ammonia means what? Adding some product. Adding some product means the reaction is going to go in the backward. So this is not correct. Second option is what? By decreasing pressure. See, pressure, right? If you decrease the pressure, then how the reaction is going to proceed? Reaction is going to proceed in a direction where the number of gas moles is high. So if you decrease the pressure means it will move in a direction where the number of gas moles is high. Look at this reactant side. What is the number of gas moles? 1 plus 3, 4. Product side, what is the number of gas moles? 2. So where the number of gas moles is high? Reactant side. Means decreasing pressure, right, will shift the reaction in the backward. That's not what we are looking for. Look at option C. By decreasing concentrations of nitrogen and hydrogen. See, nitrogen, hydrogen are reactants, right? If we decrease their concentrations, we are removing some reactant. So removing some reactant, the equilibrium will shift to replenish the reactant. Means it is again going to shift in the backward. Now look at option D. Option D is saying what? Increasing pressure and decreasing temperature. Increasing pressure already we have seen. Decreasing pressure means it is going the backward. So increasing pressure means what? The reaction will proceed in a direction where the number of gas moles is less. Always when we increase the pressure means the equilibrium will be shifting in a direction where the number of gas moles is less. Where the number of gas moles is less, the product side. That's why in option D case, right, it is going to proceed in the forward. They are not just talking in terms of the pressure, they are also talking in terms of the temperature. Look at this. They are saying decrease in temperature. See, the reaction is what? Exothermic. So exothermic reactions, right, are favored at low temperature. Means at low temperature, right, the reactions are going to proceed more in the forward direction. Endothermic means it will be the reverse. So the correct answer for this is option D, where by increasing pressure and decreasing temperature, right, we will be able to have the reaction or the equilibrium shifting more in the forward direction. Next we have another question that has come in the paper 2014. For a given exothermic reaction, the Kp and Kp dash are equilibrium constants at temperatures T1 and T2 respectively. Means Kp is the equilibrium constant at T1, Kp dash is the equilibrium constant at T2. Assuming the heat of reaction is constant in the temperature range between T1 and T2, means what they are indirectly telling is that so T1 and T2 in the temperature range means they are saying that T1 is less than T2. So in the temperature range means so we are assuming that T1 is less than T2, and it is observed that, so we need to comment on what is the relation between Kp and Kp dash. Is Kp equal to Kp dash, or is it less, or is it more? So that's what we need to be finding out. And the relation between equilibrium constant and temperature, right, is given by the Gibbs-Helmholtz equation. The relation between equilibrium constant K and temperature, right, is given by what? Gibbs-Helmholtz equation. And this equation is valid only when the delta H is constant. In the temperature range, the heat of the reaction must be what? Constant. And that's what they are also saying, assuming the heat of the reaction is constant. That is a fundamental assumption of the Gibbs-Helmholtz equation. So what is Gibbs-Helmholtz equation? If you look at log of Kp dash by Kp, log of K2 by K1 is equal to minus delta H by 2.303 R into 1 by T2 minus 1 by T1. So this is, so generally the relation is like this: log of K2 by K1, right, will be equal to minus delta H by 2.303 R into 1 by T2 minus 1 by T1. So where K2 is the equilibrium constant at T2 and K1 is the equilibrium constant at T1. So here at T2 what is the equilibrium constant? Kp dash, and at T1 what is the equilibrium constant? Kp. Now if you look at this information, right, what they are saying about the reaction, they are saying this is an exothermic reaction. Means what? This delta H part is going to be negative. Exothermic means what? Delta H is negative, and we are assuming that T1 is less than T2. So if you just look at the relation between the terms, right, first of all what we are having, delta H is negative, so we put a minus here. Minus into minus is what? Plus will come. Okay, and T1 is less than T2 means what? T2 is more than T1. So 1 by T2 will be a lesser term than 1 by T1, because if T2 is more than T1 means 1 by T2 will be lesser than 1 by T1. So the overall 1 by T2 minus 1 by T1 is going to be what? Negative. So minus into minus is plus, plus into another minus will be what? Overall it is coming as what? Negative. The overall RHS part is what? Negative sign. Means LHS is what? Log of Kp dash by Kp, right? We have a logarithmic property. So log of A by B is what? Log A minus log B. So we use the logarithmic property. So log of Kp dash minus log Kp is negative, which means what? This Kp dash, the value of Kp dash, right, must be, because see, when we are subtracting log Kp from log Kp dash, right, we are getting negative, which means what? This Kp dash must be less than Kp. In otherwise what we can say, Kp must be more than Kp dash. So what is the correct relation between them? It will be what? Kp must be more than Kp dash. So these are some of the standard result kind of questions, because people do remember for the exothermic reactions, as temperature is increased, the equilibrium constant value is going to be, for the exothermic reactions, right, temperature is increasing means the equilibrium constant is going to decrease. So that result comes from the Gibbs-Helmholtz equation. What is Gibbs-Helmholtz equation? Log of K2 by K1 is equal to what? Minus delta H by 2.303 R into 1 by T2 minus 1 by T1. Next we have a question related to the solubility, or we can say precipitation. This is a question that has come in the 2015 cancel paper. KSP value of Ag2CrO4, silver salt of CrO4 2 minus ion, then AgCl, then AgBr and AgI. So KSP values of these salts are given. What are these KSP values? 1.1 in 10 power minus 12, 1.8 in 10 power minus 10, 5 in 10 power minus 13 and 8.3 in 10 power minus 17. Which one of the following salts will precipitate last? Focus here. What we need to find? Which of them is going to precipitate last if AgNO3 solution is added to the solutions containing equal moles of NaCl, NaBr, NaI and Na2CrO4. Means what is happening basically here, we are having, let's say there is a vessel. The NaCl, NaBr, NaI and Na2CrO4, they are having equal number of moles. Means Cl minus concentration, Br minus concentration, I minus concentration, CrO4 2 minus concentration, all are having same value. Now if you look at adding the AgNO3, what is adding AgNO3 going to do? It is going to provide the Ag plus ions. Now any salt will precipitate when the ionic product of the salt, any salt will precipitate when the ionic product of the salt is equal to Ksp value. So here what we are saying, all these Cl minus ion, Br minus ion, I minus ion and CrO4 2 minus, they have the same concentration. Let us say this is X. Okay. Now we will come to this first Ag2CrO4. For this, right, what is the, if say for example the Ag2CrO4 at a concentration of Ag, which is having a value of S, at a concentration of Ag which is having a value of S, let's say the precipitation starts. Then what is the relation we have? Ag plus concentration is S, because Ag2CrO4, when it is dissociating, right, it will give us what? 2Ag plus and CrO4 2 minus. So the Ksp value will be what? Ag plus square into CrO4 2 minus concentration, which is what we are saying X. This is equal to what? 1.1 into 10 power minus 12. Means the value of S will be equal to what? Root 1.1 into 10 power minus 12 by X. So this is where the precipitation of Ag2CrO4 will start. So at this value of S is what? The concentration of Ag plus ions. At this concentration of Ag plus ions, the precipitation of Ag2CrO4 will start. Similarly, if you look at AgCl, right, AgCl, what is the Ksp value? 1.8 in 10 power minus 10. Means concentration of Ag is S into concentration of Cl minus is X. The value will be equal to what? 1.8 into 10 power minus 10. Means the value of S where the precipitation starts is what? 1.8 in 10 power minus 10 by X. For AgBr, if you look at it, right, the concentration, same formula. Here also what we'll have? S into X will be, the Ksp value is different. 5 into 10 power minus 3 means what? The value of S here will be 5 into 10 power minus not 3, it is 13. 5 10 power minus 13 by X. Now when it comes to the last one, which is AgI, we'll have a similar relation. Here also the value of S will be coming as what? Ksp value 8.3 into 10 power minus 17 by X. Now they are asking which of them will precipitate last. See here X, we are not keeping a value. Let's say X is equal to 1. The concentration of all the ions is equal to what? 1 molar. If we keep X is equal to 1, the S value where the precipitation starts for AgI is what? 8.3 in 10 power minus 17. For AgBr it is what? 5 in 10 power minus 13. For AgCl what is it? 1.8 in 10 power minus 10. For this one, right, it will be, if you put X is equal to 1 means what is it going to be? Root of 1.1 in 10 power minus 12. Means this is somewhere around root 10 power minus 12 means it will be coming as what? Approximately 10 to the power of minus 6. Means if you add the AgNO3 slowly, then first at very low concentration, what is it? 8.3 in 10 power minus 17 Ag plus concentration itself, we will see that AgI will start precipitating. Then comes the place of AgBr. It will start precipitating when the concentration of Ag plus is what? 5 in 10 power minus 13. Then comes AgCl precipitation, because it will start precipitating when the Ag plus concentration is what? 1.8 in 10 power minus 10. The last one to start precipitating is Ag2CrO4. So where it will precipitate? It will start precipitating when the concentration of Ag plus is approximately 10 to the power of minus 6. So which of them will be precipitating in the last? It is Ag2CrO4. So these questions, right, whenever we have a question like this, which will precipitate first, we have to check what is the concentration of the ions where the precipitation starts, and based on that only we will be able to comment. So what is the answer for